Hello, friends. Yeah, this is not a scheduled thing, but I'm building stuff every day. I'm working on stuff every day, and I figured the easiest way to sort of create content for that and also be able to share what I'm doing, but also, again, be able to show other people, I guess, what's sort of possible with AI along the way. Because I think a lot of people learn better when they can see what's going on and like see it for themselves, basically. Um, so yeah, no real, at least these are kind of just going to be like, I don't want to call them like throwaway episodes or whatever, but they're just going to be like the generic episodes. No real agenda. It's just literally me building stuff and sort of talking while I'm building stuff out. I guess going through my sort of process and stuff like that. So kind of diving right into this isn't part of what we're doing, but let me see. That is okay. So we're working on Flywheel. Ended up finishing 2 new maps yesterday. So we've got the lab, which is basically, I mean, that's where you start out. That's teaches you sort of how to play the game, which still needs a little bit more work. Worked out the sort of weird button like unevenness that was going on, because at some point it was kind of just you'd click one and then the other would act, or like that it would stay active, but it would shift position for some reason. Anyway, do need to take a look at this. Not that, people are going to be playing it in abundance on desktop, but there is, there's an issue, right? At 80%, it looks great, which is like perfect for tablet, I imagine. So that looks great on tablet, but then it kind of just gets mushed on desktop. Yeah, I guess, but still you're not seeing the landmarks, which for right now are not going to be relevant, but down the road, in order to increase the playability of the game, that's the kind of thing that will become relevant in terms of like showing you where you're supposed to go to collect something. So like the storyline hasn't been built out yet. We kind of started scaffolding it. Just checking on something else. So also at the same time, working on the harness for Ares, because not that it got out of hand, but just wanted a little bit more faith in coding. It's the best way I can put it. All the agents do a really good job. They all do a fairly good job of not mucking up the code. But at the end of the day, depending on how large your code base is and how much you have going on, it's going to be difficult to keep it all together. So yeah, I guess I don't know if I have to do it per. Yeah, I have to do it per window. That kind of sucks. I'll zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. All of my projects all have wikis to them. Some of them have their own personal claudes that like get used, others don't get used. And then, certain directories for either screenshots that happen during testing or whatever it might be. But for the most part, everything about the application itself stays in the wiki doc, which has an index to point to everything. Agents.md and Claude.md, no real difference between the two. It's just that some of the models like Kimi and Anti-Gravity read agents.md first, like they look for that file first before they look for anything else. So in the file, it's like, hey, this is, you can ignore this one if you're reading this one, or vice versa. If you're reading this, you can ignore that. Credits are what they sound like. It's just a method of keeping track of anybody that I have to give shout outs to as a result of using using somebody else's like materials, like sound effects and stuff like that, or textures. I think there's like a texture pack that I'm using that is a free texture pack, but it's one of those things where the game's never going to be commercialized, but at the same time, it's like I just want to give credit where credit's due. So readme obvious, and then status is the file that basically keeps track of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And basically just, again, like keeps track of sort of like the history of the whole thing. It looks a lot larger than it actually is just because this is all squished. But it auto prunes. Well, yeah, it auto prunes through a hook, but if not, then I can also prune it manually, just doing a status check or staleness check. So so some of the updates will take place. Some of them have not finished yet. Deviation from the dock. Test files, okay. Stopgate. There's another, I have like so many windows open, it's not even funny. So if I'm looking off screen, I'm looking at yet another Visual Studio instance that's open somewhere else. Okay, so that stuff's been updated, so we should be able to move forward now. Cool. We are working on building out the storyline more so that another agent can pick it up and actually hammer it out. So I just want to make sure that all of the paperwork for it is done and we're ready to move forward based on where we're at now. While you're checking on that. Hey, bud, how's it going? Okay, we'll take the same thing and we go over here. Just be nice to your peeps. Doesn't hurt. Cool. Flywheel sitting in a clean state. Good deal. Okay. Let's go take a look-see. So we got Auckland done. We got Singapore done. So now we need to do like the next phase of things. Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo. I don't know. I think Tokyo's finished. It's just I can't access it because I haven't finished these other maps yet. So we're going to do Hong Kong and Seoul. So we want to finish the rest of Act 2, but that request is like, it's going to be kind of ridiculous because like you can see based on the city scale beneath, right? So 20,000 is like nothing. So the lab is 15K. That's whatever. 14K for Sydney. It's nothing. It takes, it shouldn't take you any more than like a minute to clear that map. It might take you like 2 minutes or something. If you're just, playing around, it might take you 2 minutes. Auckland, not much, obviously not much harder. Singapore, larger map. The reality of the game is like, it's just meant to be super fun and just super playable and not like, it's not meant to be like challenging in any like hardcore way whatsoever. It's meant to be like a fun challenge. So, and it's sort of like you can take it on yourself if you want to, sort of deal. Let's see. Navigation is a little weird. It's not intuitive to me. I kind of expect it to go to the section when you click on the section as opposed to opening up but that's what this is for. It's still a little weird that, I'll work it out. You got like the feedback from you guys is what will drive the application, right? So in case you're wondering, what really okay, Isai, got it. I'm glad that you put your name in there, and if you're on LinkedIn watching this, definitely put your name in the comment. Unfortunately, I'm using a third-party platform that streams to multiple platforms, and so LinkedIn is just one of the many. And being that that's the case, LinkedIn is just terrible when it comes to chat interaction because it's meant for posting. It's not really meant for chat. So they don't, they still haven't worked that out when it comes to live streaming. So anyhow, thanks for watching, man. Yeah, so we'll work the the navigation on the map out at some point. But yeah, the issue with doing these all today, which so like Tokyo's out of order as well. Like that should be the highest level that you get to, which we might have to move it around altogether, to be honest. Because I wanted it to be a progression where it goes like to highest lowest, or I'm sorry, lowest highest, but it's crazy because Cambridge is 72K, Boston's 82K. So like when I run the validator, it's nuts. It takes forever, and it always comes back the same way. It's like, yeah, it's taking forever because of Cambridge. Really? And I get it's weird that if you see the Cambridge map, even though it's actually less blocks, it's way it's way bigger than the Boston map. I don't know exactly, like just the way it configured everything just made it like really, really massive. And in a lot of cases, I didn't ask for certain things to be the way that they are. And especially when it comes to building out the new maps, like I'm not necessarily asking for what the the monuments are or anything like that. It's just been told like, hey, yeah, so you can see it like cleared within 3 minutes. It's just been told pick monuments from that city and make sure that they're present within the city. So let's try to at least get Hong Kong and Seoul done, I guess. It's going to take a minute. You know what? This is going to be funny though, because, okay, so anti-gravity, I'm going to use I use a lot of old school terms, so, buckle up. Anti-gravity is like, it's as fast as the Dickens, right? Like it just flies. It doesn't know how to go at a different speed, especially if you're using 3.7 flash. It's crazy. And 3.7 flash on low is the craziest speed I've ever seen. But what you are, gaining in speed, you are sacrificing greatly in effort, and especially just like, I don't want to say it's something like you are losing the models like want, or you're losing reasoning. You're giving up reasoning, and reasoning would essentially back up the model and tell it, hey, you know what? Even though we're doing this, we should probably go further and do some research and, make some comparisons to like real life monuments and stuff like that. That's not really going to happen. If it does, it's going to be very light by comparison to using, let's say, GDT at a high level, like if you're using Soul High, or if you're using, Claude, I'm using Fable with Medium, which I can't even remember why I put it at that level, but oh yeah, you know what? Actually, let's change this to low. So it's a difference of like, okay, who's gonna? I don't want to do a speed run, but it's something like that. So let's just kind of do a speed run, and you'll get to see like what the difference is between the two models, I guess, in terms of like how they handle levels of detail. So we're gonna go for Hong Kong. Let's maps.google. Shout out Christine. Okay, and don't know. Let's see. Let's do this. Can you do it this way? Should be able to, Google. Come on. Things to do. Yeah, okay, things to do. Space Museum. I don't know what it's going to pick. So I'm just keeping this up so that when it actually builds out the map, we have an idea of like where that area might be. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so we finished 2 maps yesterday, but Hong Kong is not finished yet. Could we start by building out Hong Kong, which this is really like a different, let me ask this in a different conversation because this guy's working on storyline. Don't want to. don't want to confuse the two of them. Okay, so let's see how fast it can knock this out. The interesting thing we'll see will be like the speed at which it can do it by comparison, obviously, to the level of detail that it's going to put into it. The nice part about using Claude is that it does, like, you could, it really does. You obviously can put it on high, or you can put it on like Opus 5 high, or what I like to do is Sonnet 5 with Ultra Code on, and then just tell it whatever the map is that you're trying to build out, or series of maps that you're trying to build out. And that way it will actually go through, it'll be a painstaking, process, but you can get like an entire, at least for me and for what we're doing here, can probably get like the entire, let's say, desert series of maps done in like 6, maybe 7 hours, something like that, which seems like a really long time, but I don't want to say the level of detail going on here is, jaw dropping, but it's recognizable, and it's definitely like you could tell that it's making an effort. Oh man, yeah, no, stop doing that. Don't run that validator. Let's see what I would do instead. If you need to validate something, and we don't already have a specific validator for it, I would create that and use that instead. We still, I'm sorry, I've been lazy about this. We still haven't fixed this general validation tool method, and it's going to be like 45 minutes till you actually get the feedback on it. So I would just check it out in particular as opposed to using a general validation. And then you're definitely going to want to get examples and samples of things from Google Maps if you can, in order to help with the level of detail that we're looking for by comparison to the other maps. Can all that get taken into account? Let's see. Just love that. Now stop doing that. Let's see. Cool. Sweet. Now it's building this, like I am not going to put a whole lot of faith behind this validation tool that it's building right now, because again, it's Gemini 3.7 Flash on low, right? So it's like, it's not the greatest thing ever. At some point after this, I'll just ask Claude to review the validation tools that got created, and fill in any of the gaps. Okay, what we were working on today over here. So you know what the issue over here is. Let me check. Okay, so we are working on the library, and specifically the prompts that go over to Leonardo for the hero images of the articles. The issue that I'm running into is practically every single image features somebody sitting down at a desk on a computer in some way. And the odds on that one are just astronomically impossible. So what I would like to do is work on the most solid method that we can, most reliable method that we can, which will give us variety when it comes to the hero image by way of the subject matter of the article itself. I feel like, and I've asked, you wouldn't think I should use Soul High for this, but the thing is, I've asked Claude to look into this multiple times. I've asked Kimmy to look into this multiple times. There is something weird going on with the prompt where it's like, I really, it feels like it's holding back and leaving some line in there that it shouldn't be leaving in there. Okay, so it's building that out while that's happening. Oh yeah, also working on the Oracle. Let's pull that up big and jump into go anti-gravity for that, because I want to, for this one, I'm actually more concerned with like just building it quickly and then going over it later than I am with it being completely polished. For right now, it just needs to work. It just needs to do what it's supposed to do. Let's see. Hey, bud, how's it going? Today we are going to be working on fine-tuning and polishing the application. Just want to make sure that everything is working as intended according to the documentation. We have deviated from the documentation when it comes to the design of the output. That is intentional. So the current way in which the output is shown is actually intentional. However, the output tends to include what I would consider to be variables and or artifacts that aren't needed and or don't give any additional context to the response. What's more is that we really need more of a layman response that can give us the simple explanation as to here is the event, here is where the event lies within the timeline from that event to the singularity. Here are several things that are significant that may happen in between this event and the singularity. That's what this guy does, tries to predict the future. And it's based on the machine from the movie Big. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. The Oracle. I think it's already open, right? Yep. Okay. There's quite a bit of work that needs to be done on this one. Like these aren't, those things I don't think they're legitimate. Updating prompts. Yes, and as well, there's like 3, I guess you could call them starter prompts when you first pull up the Oracle. It would be great if those could be legitimately pulled from online sources as opposed to just being generic and or like dummy prompts. And at the same time, actually, now that I remember, let's go ahead and change the effort level to high. Okay, you go ahead and do that. So far, so good. Cool. Already running validation on it, which means that it should be standing up. Maybe not. We also need to work on the tracks. Ready to roll. Okay, not there yet. Oh, it's still not there. Hybrid method, keep title and excerpt as a semantic source, but stop asking the model to invent entire visual grammar. Okay. What did you... Yeah. That's a problem. Like that statement in and of itself would just throw it way out of whack. It's okay. That's why we run these checks. And this guy's finished. Okay. Okay, based on the updates, does this affect your reflections at all? It's a whole separate window going on, which I wish I could show, but it would be really annoying for me, I think. Let me see. Can I do a 4-up? I mean, I kind of can. Yeah, I guess. All right, I'll try to do a 4-up. You go over there. you go over there, and you go over there. Okay, so now this is the conversation related to fixing the harness for Aries. This is the conversation, and we're working session related to Flywheel. This is the working session related to AI with Nico. And this is the working session related to the Oracle. How do you keep them all straight? I've got 3 monitors. so I normally have them spread out. That makes it a lot easier. Okay. Well, let me see. 13, put in first. Cool. Okay. Okay. Good deal. Disk journal, leave it there. Good deal. Okay. Okay, awesome. From the earlier plan, what is still remaining? This would be the plan related to updating the harness. Oops. I will wait. Background build notification. Okay. It has a, so there's an SOP check. Let me make these guys smaller so I can actually manage this. So there's a standard operating procedure check that goes on that everybody should follow, with the exception of Codex is the only one who doesn't follow it, because Codex has its own like almost auto. It's actually where that got started from. So yeah, there's several things that go on. There's good gosh. Test-driven development is one of the things that's sort of like, I wouldn't say like beat into the model, but it's driven by a hook. So the model is encouraged to take it into account when working. And then the SOP actually came from Codex. There was a point at which I was watching it work on some project and noticed how it would go back and recheck everything that it was doing before it would even bother to make a commit. And so I was like, hey, you know, that's really awesome that you go back and you do all that double checking and stuff like that. Can we turn that into a skill? And so turned it into a skill, shared it with everybody else, made it part of everybody else's sort of like SOPs, like just general instructions, basically. And so everybody else also is supposed to follow. I say supposed to because like 1 in 100 might not do it. Okay, nothing. Cool. We're all done. Awesome. Thank you so much. End of line. Okay, we're done there. So it's going to look awkward. So I'm just going to do double layout, and I'll put the Oracle back where it was. All right, build Next.js compiles and application. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Let's look at README. PNPM, I believe. Just in case. There's always like, it's almost like having that something in your back pocket, right? Like just in case it doesn't go too well with anti-gravity. I mean, yesterday it was an issue where Claude wasn't working for like the longest time, and I don't really know what was up with that necessarily, but like Opus, it was just Opus was not working for maybe like I don't even know how long it was, because I just stopped caring after a while. Thank you, Chris Carolyn, shout out, because he said just change the model and see what happens. But even then, right, like you're forced to change the model. So if you're working with Opus, you're not necessarily going back to Sonnet based on what your Opus setting was. So if you're on like Opus High, you're not going back to Sonnet because there's nothing that's going to get that close. Even if you put it on Ultra Code, it's a risk. So then you have to go Fable Medium essentially, and that's, I mean, the token burn between those two is, it's ridiculous. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I just don't don't work on it for a while. Or what I end up doing is essentially, I wouldn't call it doubling up on the paperwork, but I essentially what I do is tell Claude to make task lists for everything that it's going to do, and just make sure that it goes down the task list one by one, and to include code review as part of the task list. And that usually takes care of it. So that's where you can like downgrade and maybe get done what you need to without too much of an issue. And then when the model comes back online, you can go back and review it, which you should. You should never just like take anything straight out the gate. He did the build and said that it was fine. So if that's true, yes, sir. Okay, served up. Let's go. Localhost 3K. I believe it did come up with a fave icon at some point. Any day. I know it's a pretty big, yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So there is a countdown clock. Now this is the countdown clock that the Oracle has set for when it feels the singularity will occur. And then my guess is 2030, and it's continually saying, or well, for right now, it's saying 19% by 2030. So, so we'll see. Well, obviously, we'll see who's right. Hydration build because the server text con matched. Okay. Okay. That's pretty common. It's not too uncommon. Serve it back in while you're working on that. Let me grab a headline from today. Oops, TLDR. Yeah, I suppose. Okay. Just TLDR news. Let's go. Should be TLDR tech. Yep. Okay, fintech and focus. What we're looking for is something that's like either a breakthrough in terms of like processing, something got sped up, or we're looking for something that is research oriented. Let's see. Fintech, design, marketing, founders, DevOps. Okay. But not yet. Oof, that's not so good for NVIDIA. Let me see what else is going on. So it's kind of neat because, again, still feeling this thing out in terms of like, hey, is it working right or not? And the outputs are a little weird for right now. Okay. Let's try. I mean, that doesn't really change much, I don't think. Let's see. Who does a good job with, gosh, what was it called? Fly, no. Oh, man. What was that called? There we go. Feedly. That's That's what shit has gone to right away. Sorry, TLDR. No shade. Slack launches Slack code. So that's the pushback against Claude Chat, because Claude started a get out. Claude started chat within Claude Code for Enterprise, I think. And I mean, the first thing I said was like, oh, okay, well, bye-bye Slack, because why do you need that as a development team if you're going to be, doing the chat in Claude Code? I do still see the need for both, because you need one that's like, again, as an organization, you need Slack to talk to the rest of your organization, and you need, obviously, you need Claude Code to sort of plug into that. So this is just a little bit weird to me, only because it's almost as if Benioff is trying to fight back against, or like, it feels like it's some sort of pushback or something. It's like, oh, you did that? Well, we're going to do this. Because I don't know. Look, again, I'm sure that developers see this as being like super useful. Probably because you can, like, if you're having a conversation about, but that's the thing, is like, if you're having a conversation about it, why wouldn't you be having it in Claude Code Chat? So yeah, this is a very interesting back and forth to me, but unfortunately not anything relevant to speeding up tech. Investors Guide to TechCrunch. Ramp launches its own AI model router called Router. So over the top inventive. Marketing, robotics, nothing really crazy. Okay, that would do. That'll do, because that's increasing the speed at which AI operates. So we're going to go with that as the article. We're going to ask, what is the effect on the currently given timeline based on the following information? And so what it's going to do is run, well, fingers crossed. What it's going to do is run research, which is what the Scout does. And then the Gauntlet is sort of what it sounds like. It essentially takes the information that it found through research and runs it through this gambit of like, well, what's the likelihood of this versus that? How much does it affect this or that other thing, what have you? Placement is, again, what it sounds like. It places the events on a visual map that I'm still sort of working on in terms of getting it to react properly to showing the information. And then briefing is the text, essentially the text output. Not bad. So that's essentially saying that it accepts that this is going to affect the, it accepts the statement. It accepts that this will affect the outcome. I haven't put anything in there. Yeah, I need to put something in there about if and when it actually changes the timing, that it needs to update this clock and then maybe show like a history to see both like what, how much it changed over time and what event caused it to change. Yeah, definitely. Hey, when it comes to the countdown clock, I want to add a couple things. One is I want to track anytime that the Oracle comes back and says that the event that was given will actually change the countdown and lower the time, meaning that instead of 2032, it will become 2031 per se. I'd like to note both the time at which it happened, so just timestamp the event, and then also which article and which prompt caused the change to happen, so that we can track over time what types of events are causing the time frame to collapse. Want to know it all. Okay, so yeesh. That's always awesome to come back to. Okay, but we lost the visual, so that sucks. Okay. Relativity networks, blah, blah, timeline of singularity. Oracle estimates inversion of singularity at 23.2. So it only took like just maybe a few, maybe a couple weeks or something. Hollow core fiber can make some distributed. This needs to update so it actually links to these sources. In between immediate 30 days, hyperscalers and network vendors expand pilot evaluations. Goes milestone, medium term, pilots measure end-to-end results rather than propagation speed alone. Long-term selective intercampus AI links may gain greater geographic flexibility if manufactured and interconnected problems improve. Yeah, I suppose that would be quite a bit, right? Like I don't know if they're asking if you're having to completely redo infrastructure to lay down fiber cable in certain places. Okay. Well, wish the visual would have come back with that. Also need to look into that. All right, back to the game. Let's see if I can do this now. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see if it is playable. It should. I don't know why it would make it not playable. Okay. So it should be there. We just have to actually beat this level. Challenging as it may be. Turn the sound on. The music is pretty deep, I feel. And you can change like which track it is based on like I've got some generic tracks that I'm throwing in there, and then every time you beat a level, you can listen to the track from that level. So if you like it, keep listening to it. If you don't, you know, down just a little bit. Okay. And this is like for now, people can mess around, and like the reason I have it is for like anybody that really wants to can like mess around with the actual like feel of what's going on. And you know, again, give feedback on like, yeah, no, it would be cool if we changed, you know, these settings and stuff like that, and then I can throw it into the sandbox and see what it feels like, and if it, you know, it gels and a lot of other people like it, it works. So in terms of this being, Singapore, I am not sure where this is. Let's see. Ooh. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take a screenshot. Take a look at it later. And the entire like purpose of the game is just consume all the blocks. That's it. I think I'm gonna end up changing the timer on power-ups because it's a bit annoying. Oh sweet. Please tell me it's going left or right. Yeah. But it's still gonna whip some blocks around. That's cool. Nice. Still needs a little bit better like graphics around it, but performance dips so bad. I need to get a frame rate monitor going. I can actually see like how badly it's happening. because it's knocking down the entirety of this building and all of these blocks are falling at the same time. So like, even if I zoom in all the way, it's still not like stopping the calculation that has to happen. Just nuts. Yeah, it's just leveling the entire thing. It's so crazy. Get through all of this mess. What's crazy is that at some point when all the blocks settle, then it's just gonna go like super fast. This went from like being doable to maybe not being able to do it in time now. And believe me, I have done many a like performance. There you go. It might also be because I'm running so many coding agents at the same time too. Could be that. Yeah, normally should be moving this fast, and even when it comes to like larger buildings, it shouldn't have any sort of like issue handling knocking all this stuff out. So I think it's definitely either I've been having the worst trouble with my my connection actually, my internet connection. I don't know what goes on with Spectrum, why it goes on. I don't really care. Just always sucks when you drop from like 900 down to like 50. So change the map now. Cool. Let's take a look. Hopefully we'll see. I don't know. When I have let anti-gravity design levels in the past, it has been very lacking. Oh man, yeah. It's been something like this. Okay. Oh my gosh. So it's a little too like simple right out the gate. Like can't really tell much of anything. Let's see, get to where we can zoom out a little bit. I mean, that's a very cool means of giving people. It's cool. It's definitely cool. And I can see what, yeah, I can see like what it's going for. I don't know what the. I should look at. Let's see, Victoria Harbor and the Peak. So it's like you put two places together. Okay. Victoria Harbor. Is the Peak going to be like a thing? Yep. Look, I don't know what it's doing. Okay, so it's going to be. Yeah, I know. I don't know how stupid I look right now trying to find this thing. Nope. I'm looking for the, because it had that like huge sort of like arch, not archway. I mean, it's probably an archway when you see it, but I'm not entirely sure where that would be. Okay. So at least, where'd that go? So at least Victoria Harbor. So we should be able to see something along these lines. So there should also be a Ferris wheel there. It's tough to say like, hey, are the exact buildings there? But clearly this building should be there. Trying to think of like, okay, what's iconic and like really going to stick out. I think it's a matter of like the building being there with the harbor being next to it and the Ferris wheel being there. So let's see, let's go back. And I did not make it so that you could spin the map around while you're in this setting. I probably should. Okay, so it is trying to put some of the harbor in there. It looks like it put them back to back. It's like, yeah, here's these two places in Hong Kong. Let me just smash them together where they don't even belong, really. Though it kind of does, I think, when you look at it. At least I don't know, from above, maybe. Kind of looks like it's, yeah, like it's forest straight up against the city. That's so cool to me. Oh no, thanks Google. Here where that belongs. Everything's fine. Cool. All right. You run the requests. It's interesting to see if let's restart. Yeah. Did you rebuild it though? I think the NVIDIA story was middle. I just wanted to like pull different stories. The aspect where it's supposed to pull like recent news that is related either to technological breakthrough and or scientific research breakthrough for those first three suggested prompts, has that been done yet, or did we just scaffold that? Let's see. Cool. Can you do me a favor? We just created the map for Hong Kong. Can you please take a look at that map and then review that against Google Images of those areas, or yeah, of those two areas, and just give it a little bit of polish. It looks all right now, but kind of indistinguishable from a generic city, and just, I don't know, again, like kind of generic. If we could add some more detail to it, even with the given amount of voxels, either use different shapes or different size blocks, doesn't matter to me. One way or the other. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Let's sketch out. Still running that validator, aren't you? Yep. Man, really loves running that tool. Okay, so we need to fix that. Hey, we need to take a look at that validator tool. Yeah, this is supposed to be for whatever. That's going to get caught in there. The validator script, sorry. I'm not entirely sure what's going on in there in terms of efficiencies, inefficiencies. Kind of don't care. It's just the fact that that gets run fairly often, almost like as a habit or something like that. The problem with it is that it takes like a half hour to actually finish. Now, look, that's not the end of the world, but when we're making updates, it's almost pointless to run that 30-minute validator after making like a simple update, right? So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to work this out, but let's just talk it through in terms of how we should handle that validator file, whether or not that needs to be broken down more. If it's, you know, going overboard in terms of how it's validating things or what it's taking into account, and what we can do to just increase the efficiency of that process altogether. Changes over to plan mode. Okay. Take a look at that while you're running. Can you please get to work on finishing out the rest of the Asian Pacific maps? Is that where we're at? I think so. Probably not. Just the Asian maps. Maps in Asia. Did I do, what did I do? Tokyo? Yeah. Okay, structural variety system. Cool. Method. Okay, do me a favor, regenerate, go ahead and commit and push the changes. And then if you would do me a favor and regenerate the hero images just for the articles which were created today. They suck. It's not that they suck. They're the same. Like, I don't understand where, like, I get where it came from. I saw that it's like, it was still hanging in there, just a last minute, like, hey, well, they should be, you know, workforce, whatever. Anyway, it's just that it decided to just, oh, there we go. So like, these aren't so bad, but some of the ones that it came up with, these aren't even like the articles that it was showing me. But you could see how it's like everybody's sitting at a desk, or like everybody's in an office doing something. So like, you know, it's just a matter of like, hey, can we please, like, there's got to be more variety that we can do other than these, like, you know, side-by-side comparisons and people sitting in an office, right? So we'll see if we can get a bit more variety out of that. Oh boy, it is struggling a little bit. In fairness, streaming while also asking 3 to 4 models to run at the same time. So, okay, pre-step scaffolded, updated the static starter prompts, dynamically fetching live. Just get. Yes, please create the tasks for it first, and then complete the implementation one task at a time. Yeah, you do that. Okay, and still running. Okay, scope is clean. Okay, so we have to actually complete Hong Kong in order to move on to the other ones. So, the engine. Okay. Thought it might crash out because it's editing stuff. Need to, like, so I updated that camera to be, it's supposed to be smoother, but it's not really. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess it kind of is. I think it's the turning speed. That's what it is. It is fairly smooth. Say fairly, which means maybe it isn't, so that means maybe I should change it. I don't know. Get into your own head about the design on this stuff, and never gonna make it out. On mobile, you can pinch and zoom if you needed to change being able to see stuff better. which everything gets explained in the first level. I was a bit shocked when people were like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do." It's like, kind of like explore and have fun. I initially wanted it to make a game like that, where you're just having fun by, yeah, there we go. So there is definitely, I've got to change something about how it has to directly do with the tornado. Okay. Okay. I need to change that post haste. I really hate that. Let's measure its baseline behavior. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I'll see you never. It's just gonna be forever. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, I get that there's other commits in there. You're actually working side by side with two other agents, so definitely be careful with what you're doing. Don't touch a file if somebody's already in it. Wait for them to commit before you actually touch anything in there. If anything, so long as what you worked on doesn't touch anything that another agent worked on, go ahead and commit your work. In the end, after all the commits have been made, then can go back over and kind of look to see was anything sort of pushed out of place. If there's any document drift, then you can realign. Good deal. This one, building out the maps, is not going to really bother anybody. And then this guy working on the validator doesn't really bother Quad. So we'll see. Hey, just letting you know, there is another agent working side by side with you, and they are specifically working on refining a particular map for Hong Kong. So if you happen to spot them in there playing with any files that you need to gain access to, just wait until they're finished and have committed that file, and then you can go ahead and work on it. And what it'll do is anytime it bumps into something like that, it'll just set up a cron timer and just keep checking the source control until the file is available to write to. Yeah, because it's going to take a minute, man. It takes a while to generate images. It's so hung up on that. Nothing yet. Okay, let's see. Did we make that yet? Cool. All right. Let's restart it and see where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and kill this since we're not using it. A lot of this you're going to get to see later today on the Daily AI Show. That's different. And yet we're getting the exact same. Let's see. Continuous time reinforcement learning. So it finds these research docs to be where they all seem like they're the same. It's there are 3 different research documents. Child safe ads. Why would 2 others were submitted? Yeah. Okay. How does that affect anything? I know I should click on it to find out, but I can just tell like already. But all right, let's do it. I don't think it quite understood, which we'll have to take a look at the prompt. I don't think it quite understood what it was I was asking for, because it favored research over like articles. So we might need to actually have it break it down into like distinct categories, like grab three research articles related to advancements in AI within the last 24 hours, or grab 3 headline articles related to AI advancement in the last 24 hours. I think it's going to be that. Yep. Hey, so can I see the prompt that you're using in order to aggregate those 3 starters? Just call them that. I don't care. Are those the only 3 feeds that we're using? Why are we not using more than that? Crafty. That sucks. That would be why it definitely starts pushing my processing percentage insanely whenever it runs that, which is why I always turn it off. Yeah. Okay. Monolithic file. Did you, if you wrote it down, yep. Where is, try to commit that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Can you actually save that doc in the wiki? That way I can have the other guy take a look. Oh man. Yep, now I'm gonna have to. It's gonna ask every single time. I always forget about that. So word to the wise, if you're using Codex, if you don't update the permissions before you actually start, it will just keep asking you. It won't matter if you update them afterwards. It'll just keep prompting you for permissions to do stuff. It's really lame. I don't know. Maybe they fixed it recently because I did update this yesterday. But yeah, that's been my experience. Yep, cool, awesome. There's one conflict in your own brief. Tell the model wanted to update status. That's fine. You'll update it later. Where are we at? Tokens. What's in Bangkok? Okay. Sweet, and then Mumbai. All right. That's why I say, like, it's really great at just like, I kind of consider I look at it almost like art in a sense, where Gemini Flash is like my sketch. Like it's just the pencil that I'm using to sketch like the rough idea out, and then go back over it with Claude to actually refine what was put there. Okay, so we'll have Claude take a look at it later. I always put it off to later. Could always start another one. Grabbed it too soon. Okay. Would normally talk, but I'd already copied that. The Whisper app that I use automatically like whatever I'm saying and whatever it transcribes also goes to the Scratch Notepad or what have you. So it will, yeah. So it'll always be whatever I copy paste. If I say something, that's what automatically gets replaced. So if I would have said that line, then I'd have to go back and recopy that. Not the end of the world, but just reasons why. Okay. Application gets passed. Sublocked on the document. Yeah, okay. So it does, really? I just asked you to save it. Where did you? Oh, man. You put it in the root. Can you move it? It looks, I think you put it in, yeah, it looks like you put it in the root. Can you move it to this code base, to the wiki in the code base, please? I don't know why. And then why would you call it save validator plan to wiki? You know what? Because did you write another plan? Okay. Okay, good. Like wrote a plan to write the plan. Okay, here's the path. My bad. Okay. Second guy down there. Still working on Mumbai now, so we're almost done there. Still making that update. That's crazy. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Okay. I think the budget is currently set to $5, right? Oh, never mind. It's right there in front of me. Okay, update the daily swarm budget from $2 to $5, please. 17 items per day. Okay. It's not something that runs daily, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, we're definitely going to add Git repositories, policy, patent feeds. I guess if we can get public ones, but that's not Yes, but yeah, well, Edgar filings, that's just new companies. That's not really new happenings. As far as the additional sources go, filings and CapEx not really telling us anything in terms of technology taking place, but certainly the GitHub trending AI repositories, let's get the Substack, AI policy and semiconductor newsletter, and then the patent feeds, if we can get those. If these are all public available information, we're not getting into paid APIs or even free accounts with like free trial APIs, anything like that. Again, this one's not meant to be like a big budget, you know, application item. It's just kind of messing around. What you got for me? That's kind of what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I know it's Cambridge. It's so nuts. Okay. Hmm. Okay. But you don't want to fix the diagram? Okay, go ahead and update the plan and then add the guardrail. Lastly, update the mermaid diagram so that it's now valid. I mean, whichever is valid to the code base, right? To the current code base. That's who wins. All right. Still working it out. I really wish that it would show more than this whenever you actually go into the detail so that I could actually see that it's doing something. I mean, I know that it's doing something, but a lot of times it'll just sit on the same task forever. I've had it sit on the same task for like 2 hours and not actually do anything. Then you go ask Claude to check, and it's like, yep, sorry, just stalled out and didn't do anything. Cool. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm still going to have to do this. Just the one time on that, thanks. Hmm. Patent feed, is that something I got to go sign up for and give you the API key to? I know that sounds so lazy, but honestly, I really hate, like, I've signed up to so many services. Okay, awesome. Go ahead and add those three then. Awesome. Not in a good way. Okay, diagnostics reordered by actual cost. Sub-second, 5-second fast iteration modes. Stale. Update the index, please. Make sure that we don't have any drift going on. Doing it once only because it's dealing with sensitive information, which is why it keeps bouncing back and asking me for permissions. Okay, we'll get 3 more sources added in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, when it comes to the options in the beginning, I mean, the 3 that came through, they were all from the research end of things, and they were just mammoth in size. Definitely don't need that much information about whatever it is. You know, a headline will do essentially. But what I'm noticing is because they all came from research, it didn't really give us anything in terms of like tech advancement or anything like that. It was just research advancement. So I was wondering if we can essentially put up like a couple categories or multiple categories of aggregated information, and especially to ensure that the information is pulled from the last 24 hours. Okay, come back. Drift swept, earlier missing. Shell director changed. Cool. There's 2 entries now across the lengths of the plan. Good deal. Uncommitted index and status. Good deal. Commit your map creations, please. So we got maps first. Yeah, we've got, I mean, so much left to go back and review. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, we've committed the files from source control. Just did one big push. It's no big deal. I just want you to go over the last commit and check for any stray code, bad connections, downstream errors that might come up as a result of whatever is getting implemented, any dead code that might get left behind or has been left behind as a result, and of course any gaps that you might find that need to get filled, and then just anything else you might notice. Come back with a organized list of what it is that you find, and you might as well, let's see, you might as well also put together a remediation plan for what you've found with detailed steps related to ADRs on rectifying the issues. Do it to it. Okay, so we've got the new maps made. We don't really have to care about this being online right now. Just kill it. Got Hong Kong getting polished up. It's fine because as soon as it's done writing, it'll still make the change, assuming that there's still anything to change about it. Patch script, file and run it. Okay. Bumped Hong Kong's catalog budget to 32 mid task. Man, that's not okay. It's worst. So Flywheel now verified. Still locked on the modeler. Okay. And I don't. Let me see who's going to carry out. No, Quad's going to do the validation optimization. So we'll consider this done for now. Yeah, and then if it's like, hey, how can you even remotely tell what it is you're working on at any given time? The what you're working on is kind of auto written up here. So I know that this is validation optimization. This one started out with casual greeting, but you can go up here and see that it's like, okay, the following extensions have been contributed. Um, and especially because of the fact that it's a, what do you call it? Casual greeting is almost always the initial write for Claude. And then if I know that if it's anti-gravity, just off the top of my head, I know that like, oh, we're scaffolding something. we're doing something that's not like serious right now, and we're doing something that like we'll come back and check on later. Oh, you know what? Yeah. You know what? I haven't created those tracks yet, so I don't know. I wouldn't worry about trying to find the exact music that lines up just yet. You might even just leave the music disconnected for now or connect it to a different track for now. Yeah, I get it. I get it, man. Take it easy. Okay. Outlive the normal webhook window. It's taking forever on it. Okay. Nobody asked for that, but sure. Did you already run the checks? Yeah, you did. Just gonna check this and call it a day here. Compiling. Okay, let's go and reset. Ooh, nice. So you could see that, yep. So it increased just a little bit given the Relativity Network's AI fiber run. Awesome. Actually went out because of the fact that because it's a times like it's a blocker that OpenAI had to pull back on model release because of security issues. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset. Okay. Didn't really mean like that, but sure. Yeah, I mean, but that's old. That's not new. That's seriously old. Blackwell B3 Is that today? I mean, it's not now. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because they're going on sale now. Lost the measured single example counterfactual and pre-training. Let's go with the NVIDIA deployment. see if it can actually go all the way through. This is going to be a very cool tool when it's actually completed. The first rendition we had of this was just completely driven by Claude, and not that anything necessarily like broke about it or what have you. It was just that we were having to. It was at a time when you didn't have like automatic capability to feed stuff into Claude, so we couldn't keep up with it. The amount of stuff that was coming out nearly every day that we would need to add to the Oracle, and then the amount of space that it was taking up started getting ridiculous. So in this way, at least, can have a auto-indexing database that prunes itself based on new information and doing auto searches every day. What I'm trying to do with this is basically, I don't know if it keeps track of, no. I mean, it probably has it on the back end. Oh, great, cool. Yeah, it's something to do. Yeah, it just doesn't like rendering that web. This is funny. Issue with the causal web. If you could take your time and investigate what's going on there and what the root cause of the issue is and work backward in order to rectify the problem. One more. Must need to restart there as well. Yep. Just take a look at this new map. And then did you get a chance to finish touch-ups? A lot of agents in progress work, then guardrail names. Yep. Got it. Okay. Been doing good. No, you're good. Okay, push. So that was the map creator. Yeah, like I said, it's just it'll figure it out and start writing to it anyway. Nothing, it's not like it changes place or anything like that. It literally is like just saving the current progress. Okay. Yeah, I know, but that's what you said last time. Every time it's like, yeah, there's no errors. Don't worry about it. You sure? I really just want to get like one solid push out of this. And what sucks is that something does actually go through, right? So NVIDIA deploys Blackwell, was accepted. It wouldn't do the plate, like it's getting broken on the placement. Verified breakthrough, 80% confidence. I don't know why it's only 80%. Estimated inversion of the singularity remains 2032 with a 20% probability of 2030. Faster AI systems. Context. Yep. So just like massively higher context windows. So ghost milestones are the milestones that could potentially take place between the event that we search for and the singularity itself. All right, so let's reset the chat. Yeah, but is it always going to suggest the same? That's the thing. To figure out how to get around that. And then something else shows up, but then it goes away. Frontier Labs deploy something. It's such a terrible. Let's just do that one. Wow, okay. Nice one. Nice one. Okay, not like I really understand any of what's going on there. It's kind of what I meant by that is like giving, just a regular explanation of that. This is such an old story, though. I don't understand why, like, the confidence on that is going to be. It's from like last year. Yeah. Okay, we'll put more work into that. Modeler's good. Yes. It'll get there. That's re-rendering the images for the library. Console. Cool. Yeah, I have to clear the others, but the map's already there, so very cool. All right, so we'll see more related to this in the AI Daily Value First AI Daily News Brief later this afternoon, and I'll explain how these things work, like the Clockwork Moth. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get any of the actual like storyline in there in time, but it'll be pretty cool. By next week, it'll be cute is what I'm shooting for, is like something really cute in terms of the story. And it's basically supposed to be that the sprocket is like, you're traveling from city to city and you're looking for different things that you're going to be picking up and making into this larger, marketing engine. You're basically building a marketing engine and you're going and finding all the lost parts in the different cities. So that's Claude's polish, right? Like that's amazing to me. Like now it is absolutely recognizable by comparison. So cool. At least we got one nice Martha Stewart before after going on. But yeah, this is great. A lot of the same structures, but like that I can live with. Especially like out the gate and then update them later. Yeah, so I see that but I'm assuming that like, yeah, if you went the apartments, because that's what they look like, right? I mean, that's what these structures look like, as apartment buildings for sure. That's so cool. It actually got, so like that's what I was looking at, right? I was looking at this building and I'm like, yeah, we should get something close to that, right? So again, it's not exactly the same, right? But it's pretty close to that. And I guess this tower with the 2 antenna on there is maybe this with the 2 antenna here. I'm not saying that this is like geographically accurate at all. Like I'm sure these things are, clearly they are not the same in terms of distance. That's not the point. The point is just to have like some cool stuff on here that you recognize. Like if you're on the Chicago map, you see the Sears Tower, probably going to add Wrigley Field to it and like Comiskey Park and stuff like that. Forgot to change the effing tornado. How much is it going to destroy though? Like, is it a good amount? It's a decent amount of destruction, but it's not like, it's really not as much as I want it to be. Like, this should obviously all be just like completely wrecked, but it'll get there, guys. So yeah, more later. Have a good one, everybody.